Everyone doing? Good? Perfect. All right. I am an athlete. Growing up in a family from New York who loves basketball, whether it's coaching at the Division I level at Georgetown University or just yelling at the TV whenever the Knicks are on, I also developed a strong love for the game from a really young age. Also, growing up playing sports like basketball, football, flag football, soccer, and baseball, I developed a really competitive spirit in all endeavors of life. One day, I was playing in a ref-officiated pickup game, and so with that competitive spirit, I treated it like it was the NBA Finals. My team was down 2 points in the fourth quarter with 10 seconds left. I caught the ball at half court, I dribbled through the defense, I pulled up, I was attacking the rim for the game-winning shot. Off 2 feet, I jumped up, and I was bumped midair. I fell with my leg twisted underneath me and felt the bones in my knee crack and the ligaments in my leg tear, and I laid helplessly on the cold, hard wooden court. In that moment, I ran straight into a boundary I never wanted to face. My body has its limits. But you see, I'm no stranger to a torn medial patellofemoral ligament. Big words, I know, but I was diagnosed with a genetic condition when I was younger, basically saying that my kneecap didn't fit correctly into its groove. Also, I have ligament laxity, which causes my ligaments to be very stretchy, and this resulted in me having multiple knee dislocations. And after multiple injuries in 7th grade, I had my right knee surgically repaired by an orthopedic doctor. But here I was a rising high school junior. Basketball was not just a sport, it was my identity. I was cut from the basketball team my freshman year, and I was absolutely devastated. So I worked out extremely hard by myself, with my friends, with coaches, with trainers. I even joined the varsity track team to get faster, stronger, and more athletic. And I made the team my sophomore year. I made the JV team. No applause or anything? Yeah. But I felt the same exact way you guys did. Like JV as a sophomore, that's not a crazy accomplishment, right? But to me it was. And I still didn't feel like I reached my full potential though, so I pushed harder. 3 travel teams, countless hours in the gym, hundreds of shots every day, early morning runs, studying film every night, and I ended up making the summer varsity league at PHU, and I was in the starting lineup. Yeah! I was the strongest I'd ever been. I was the most skilled I'd ever been, and everything was going great. And then suddenly I couldn't even walk. How could this be happening to me? I knew what was next. X-rays, MRIs, needle aspirations of the blood collection around my knee, a 3-hour knee surgery, painful physical therapy, annoying crutches, long leg braces, and no more basketball. The physical pain was, painful, but the mental pain was drastically worse. Showing up to practice on crutches, showing up to games sitting on the sidelines and watching my teammates celebrate and play the sport that I loved, it forced me to face another boundary. Who was I without basketball? For the first time in my life, I couldn't push through with effort alone. I realized that this boundary of physical health, it had to be respected. So, growth for me after the setback. When I knew what was next, and I knew I had all of these medical procedures that were coming up, I realized something really important. That growth isn't just about breaking boundaries, but instead, it's about honoring them. And through honoring them, I had to realize I couldn't train my body, I couldn't get more athletic, I couldn't play basketball, I couldn't play any sport for that matter. So how was I going to better myself? What was I going to do with my time? So instead of training my body, I trained my mind and my spirit. Reading the Bible gave me perspective and peace when everything felt uncertain. Verses about strength, perseverance, purpose. It made me realize that my identity is not in school, it's not in sports, it's not in my performance. but instead, it's in Jesus alone. If you guys want, I strongly encourage you to take a picture of these verses, or just jot them down in your notes, or just make a mental note of them, because these were the 3 verses that really got me through my injury. And so James chapter 1 verse 2 says, encourage joy in the midst of trials, knowing that faith is tested to produce perseverance. Philippians chapter 4 verse 13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11 says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And so these verses and navigating how am I supposed to grow when I can't break boundaries and realizing that it had to be only through honoring them, this really helped me grow not only as a person, not as an athlete anymore, but it redirected my path. Not only did growth after the setback look like personal growth, but it also looked like leading other students in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Club at school. Here, I share my story and my testimony as evidence of God's goodness, grace, and mercy. Also, this injury redirected my path from pursuing a collegiate career in basketball and athletics to wanting to pursue a career in healthcare to not only give back to the community, but to help others who are in similar situations that I was. And finally, like I said, navigating whether or not to break boundaries or honor them and going through failures and struggles, it shaped me into the person I am today, and for that, I am forever grateful. So from a quote from LeBron James, you can't be afraid to fail, it's the only way you succeed. So I leave you guys with this. When you run into boundaries, you face failures, you face struggles, and trust me, you will. Don't let it be the end of your story. Instead, let it be the beginning of your comeback. Because through every setback, every boundary, every struggle, there's an opportunity for you to grow, to learn, to change. There's an opportunity for you to respect your limits, to honor boundaries, and to become stronger than you ever were before. Thank you.